George Will, considered one of the great conservative columnists. He's been a conservative for a very long time. George Will has come out and endorsed Joe Biden.
Who do you plan to vote for in November?
Biden.
Biden.
Oh, yes.
Have you voted for a Democrat before?
Never.
First time you've ever voted for a Democrat for president?
That's right. Although when I first came to Washington in 1970 to work on the Senate staff, my first political hero, as it were, was a senator, a Democratic senator, was Scoop Jackson of Washington. I was working on the Senate staff for a Republican, Gordon Ellett of Colorado. As I said earlier, my best friend was Senator from New York, Pat Moynihan. So I've nothing against Democrats, but I've never had the occasion to vote for one. This year I will.
This year he will. How will this conservative columnist, when the stakes are so high, choose this to be the year that he votes for the Democrat who will empower all the people destroying the country? A few reasons. One, Will in recent years has become much more libertarian, not conservative. He's moved away from conservatism toward libertarianism, which it brings you much closer over to liberalism, or much more likely to side with liberals. Will has always been a little out of step with conservatism. He's rejected key conservative thinkers and figures. Will is an atheist. Will has been in Washington, as he notes, for a very long time, which has this habit of making people a little bit more liberal. Will doesn't see the stakes here. Even if he sees the stakes, he doesn't see the double standard. Because what he sees in Trump is this crass, vulgar person who tells the occasional exaggeration, he'd probably call it a lie, who doesn't have respect for our norms and traditions. Let's say that all of that is true. Let's say all of that is true. Will might be right about that. What he's wrong about is that the Democrats are doing all of those things so much more so. The Democrats much, much, much more vulgar and crass. Even Joe Biden himself has been vulgar and crass at many times. Joe Biden has told many more lies than Donald Trump, deeper lies. And the left right now, broadly, which Biden would be empowering, is telling extraordinarily deep lies, like America was rotten and evil from the beginning, that cops are slaughtering innocent black men, and the list goes on, that the 2016 election was illegitimate, right? The crazy conspiracies on the right. There are many more crazy conspiracies on the left. It's not that the critics of the right are wrong. They're just not seeing how much more egregious every terrible thing that you could say about Trump or about the right is on the left and applies to Joe Biden. Especially this issue of the conspiracy theories is really, really bugging me. Because they increasingly, you'll notice they hurl this on the right. If you look at right-wing figures and conservatives and thinkers and things like that, increasingly they're adding the phrase conspiracy theorist to their bios, to their Wikipedia pages, even people who are as mainstream as they come. Why are they doing this? To distract from the fact that the left is foisting some serious conspiracy theories on the country themselves. I think of this as the tinfoil hat trick. 3 in a row. They convinced the country that Trump was a Manchurian candidate, a spy for Russia, for goodness sakes. Then they convinced us that we had to shut down the economy indefinitely for this Chinese virus, where other countries around the world are not shutting down indefinitely. And I think indefinite means until the November election. Now they're trying to convince us that we don't need any kind of presidential campaign at all. There can be no debates had, whether literal presidential debates or broader debates about who should win. No campaign rallies, no nothing. So that Biden has a better chance of getting elected because the guy can't form a coherent English sentence, so they're locking him in his basement and convincing us we can't have a campaign. That's what the doctor ordered so that they can get him into the White House in 2020. Those conspiracy theories, much more egregious, much more dangerous, have a far greater public impact than any that you see crop up on the right. Those are the ones that we should push down. Those are the ones we have to fight back against. And they're going to call us all sorts of names when we fight back against them. Doesn't matter. Those are the stakes. Don't worry as much about the criticisms that they're leveling at your side when all of those criticisms apply so much more to their own. The stakes are very, very high. Now is not the time to let them delude you. If you enjoyed that break from disinformation, historical revision, and screaming about the end of the world, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss another video.